Hello students, in this video we are going to see questions asked in JEE Advanced 2019 from the chapter Complex Numbers. So they have asked two questions, both are from paper 1. So one question is single correct answer type question, so this one, and another is numerical answer type question, this one. So if you wish, pause the video and give them a try. Let us solve this question. Let S be the set of all complex numbers Z satisfying this condition. If the complex number Z0 is such that 1 by modulus of Z0 minus 1 is the maximum of this set, then the principal argument of this is dash. So let us look at the solution of this. Now first of all, they gave us this condition. Modulus of Z minus 2 plus iota is greater than or equal to root 5. So now let us first of all focus on the equality. So this is this one. We can write this equality as this one. So we are writing this as Z minus 2 minus of iota in the form of, we are writing this in the form of modulus of Z minus Z naught equal to constant. So what does this indicate? We already know that this indicates a circle, isn't it? Because the complex number Z should be in such a way, the distance of the complex number Z from the point 2 comma minus 1, that is 2 minus iota, should be root 5 units. That means Z lies on a circle whose center is 2 comma minus 1 and radius is root 5. So let us draw the diagram and see it once on the organ plane. So this is x-axis, y-axis, organ plane. The center of the circle is 2 comma minus 1 and radius is root 5. So radius is root 5, that means the circle passes through origin as well, because if you take 0 comma 0, here this will be root over 4 plus 1 root 5. So the circle will be something like this. Now coming back to the inequality, here it says that modulus of Z minus 2 plus iota is greater than or equal to root 5. So the equal to root 5, if we take equal to root 5, we get points on the circle. And if we take the inequality, if we consider the greater than case as well, we'll get the points outside the circle. That means if Z is outside the circle, the distance between Z and the point 2 comma minus 1, that is 2 minus iota, will be greater than root 5. For the points on the circle, it will be root 5. For the points outside the circle, it will be greater than root 5. So the inequality, modulus of Z minus 2 plus iota greater than or equal to root 5, represents points on the circle as well as the points outside the circle, that is in the outside outer region for this one. So all these points. So points on the circle and points which are lying outside the circle, all these points will satisfy this condition. That means the set S is nothing but the set of all the complex numbers which lie on this yellow circle or outside the yellow circle. So therefore Z can be anywhere in this region, on the circle or outside the circle. Now the second condition they are giving is, if the complex number Z0 is such that 1 by modulus of Z0 minus 1 is the maximum of the set 1 by modulus of Z minus 1 for all Z belongs to S. That means if we take any complex number from the set S, that means any point in this region, now Z0 is that point for which this quantity is highest, 1 by magnitude of Z0 minus 1. So what magnitude of Z minus 1 indicates? So magnitude of Z minus 1 actually indicates distance between point Z and the point 1, isn't it? Modulus of Z minus Z0 or modulus of Z1 minus Z2. It indicates distance between the two complex numbers. Here in our case, modulus of Z minus 1 indicates distance between the point Z and the point 1 comma 0. Because 1 is nothing but 1 comma 0. So this is modulus of Z minus 1. Modulus of Z minus 1 indicates this distance. Now we want this. Now we have to choose point Z in such a way that modulus of Z minus 1 is minimum, because we want 1 by modulus of Z0 minus 1 to be maximum. So that point is taken as Z0, right? The point for which, or the value of Z for which this is maximum, that is taken as Z0. If we want this to be maximum, the denominator has to be minimum. That means Z minus 1, modulus of Z minus 1 has to be minimum. That means the distance between z and the point 1 comma 0 has to be minimum, where z lies either on the circle or outside the circle. Now from the diagram we can clearly see that this quantity modulus of z minus 1 will be minimum when the point is closest to 1 comma 0, that is somewhere over here, isn't it? Somewhere over here. So that point we can easily find out by finding the point of intersection of line joining these 2 points and the circle. So that is this one. So this point is z0, because for this point the distance between z, if we take z as this point, distance, the modulus of z minus 1, that is distance between z and 1, will be least. So if the denominator is least, so the total quantity will be largest. So 1 by modulus of z minus 1 will be greatest when we choose the point z over here, that is at this point. So in fact we can find the point z0. We can easily find this line equation. We know we can write the circle equation, solve them and find z0. But we actually don't require z0 per se to solve this question, because the way they asked this one. So let's say z0 is some point alpha comma beta. z0 is alpha plus iota beta. Now alpha is going to be surely between 0 and 1, isn't it? Because this is 1 and this is origin. So alpha comma beta will be a point in first quadrant. So alpha lies between 0 and 1, 0 less than alpha less than 1. And beta will be a positive quantity because this is a point in first quadrant. So beta will be greater than 0. Now here you see we need this quantity, the argument of this quantity, the principal argument. So if you look carefully at this expression will simplify very easily. So let us write it like this. 4 minus of z0 plus z0 bar divided by z0 minus z0 bar plus 2 iota. So now you see, so we know z0 is alpha plus iota beta. So what is z0 bar? Z0 bar is going to be alpha minus iota beta. So 4 minus z plus z0 bar, that is going to be 2 alpha. So 4 minus 2 alpha divided by z0 minus z0 bar. Z0 minus z0 bar is 2 iota beta. So 2 iota beta plus 2 iota. So cancelling 2, what we get is, we get 2 minus alpha divided by beta plus 1 iota. So if we multiply with iota in numerator and denominator, so what we get is, so I am writing it here, what we get is, so multiplying with iota in numerator and denominator, in denominator it will be iota into iota, which is nothing but iota square minus 1. So here we get 2 minus alpha divided by 1 plus beta times iota. Now this is a purely imaginary number, isn't it? So depending on this quantity, depending on the value of this quantity, if this quantity is positive, the point will be on positive y-axis, that is imaginary axis above origin. If this quantity is negative, the point, this complex number will lie on negative imaginary axis. Now we know that alpha lies between 0 and 1. So 2 minus alpha is positive, because alpha is less than 1. So 2 minus alpha will be positive. And beta is positive, so 1 plus beta is positive. So this quantity is positive, and before that there is a minus. So overall this quantity is going to be negative. So this complex number is actually a purely imaginary number, and its imaginary part is negative. So that means this point will lie on negative part of the imaginary axis. Therefore the argument of that complex number is going to be minus pi by 2. So therefore the argument is minus pi by 2. The correct answer is option A. Okay, now let us look at the next question. So the next question is this: omega not equal to 1 be a cube root of unity, then the minimum of this set, this one, where a, b, c are distinct non-zero integers. So now what they are telling is, so we want to find the minimum value of this. A, b, c are distinct non-zero integers. So let us look at this quantity. So it is in the form of mod. So this is a complex number, isn't it? A is real number, integer in fact. B into omega, omega is imaginary number, omega square is also imaginary number. So this is an imaginary number. So what we have is, we have something like this. We have mod z square. So we know that mod z square is equals to z into z bar. So here also we can apply the same principle. So what we essentially have is, we have a plus b omega plus c omega square. We can write this as, okay, a plus b omega whole square. So we can write this as a plus b omega plus c omega square into a plus b omega plus c omega square whole bar. So now simplifying this, so we'll have a plus b omega plus c omega square into, here a bar, we can split this, a bar is nothing but a, plus b bar is b, omega bar is omega square, so we have b omega square, plus omega square bar is c omega, because we already know that omega is minus half plus root 3 by 2 iota. And what is omega square? Omega square is minus half minus root 3 by 2 iota. So they are actually complex conjugates of each other. So now multiplying them, what we have is, okay, we will have a square, b square and c square. So omega into omega square, that is omega cube is 1, right? So we have a square plus b square plus c square, c omega square into c omega, that is c square into omega cube, that is 1, plus now here you have ab, a into b omega square, a into b omega, so we have ab into omega plus omega square. Similarly we will have bc into omega plus omega square, ca into omega plus omega square. So we can write it as ab plus bc plus ca into omega square plus omega. And now we know that omega square plus omega plus 1 is equals to 0, because adding these two will get minus 1. So omega square plus omega is minus 1. That means we can write this as a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca. Now this quantity can be written as, we can multiply this with the 2 and divide with the 2. So let us write this as half of into 2. So we can write this as half of a minus b whole square plus b minus c whole square plus c minus a whole square, isn't it? Now because here 2a square, so a square and a square, 2a square, b square and b square, 2b square, c square and c square, 2c square, minus 2ab minus 2bc minus 2c. So this will be same as this. So we can write this quantity in this form. So therefore this quantity is equals to this. Now we want this quantity to be minimum. So, and we also know that a, b, c are distinct non-zero integers. That means, so the least possible value, suppose a minus b, b minus c, c minus a. Suppose if we take a minus b as 1 and b minus c as 1, then c minus a, suppose if I take, let's say, we can take any example, let us say a is some 6. Now b, if we want to keep this as minimum, we should keep the individual terms as minimum as possible. So we can choose b as either 5 or 7, because we want a minus b to be as least as possible. So let us choose b as, let's say for example 5, and b minus c. Now we want b minus c also to be as least as possible. So we can say c as 4 or 6, but we cannot choose c as 6 because they are distinct. So c has to be 4. We want b minus c also has to be minimum. We want to minimize this quantity, so we want b minus c also to be as least as possible, and the least possible value is 1 plus or minus 1, and square of that will be anyway plus 1. Now when we make any of these two quantities as 1 and 1, the other quantity will become 4, because here you see c minus a is going to be minus 2, it will become 4. So the least possible value of this, so the least possible value, is going to be half of 1 plus 1 plus 4. By observation we can see that this is the least possible value, so therefore the answer is 3. So the final answer to this question, so the answer is, the minimum possible value is answer is. So that's it for today. Hope you liked these questions. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day and take care.